Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're here on a Sunday. This is the X-Fan Show.
Listen, I am Arlington. I am parked and pulled over on the side of the road.
No, you're not. You're moving.
Oh, that's just my green screen like they do in the movies to show you that I'm actually driving when I'm really not. That's what that is.
If you freeze up, then I know what really happened, brother.
Right, exactly. Arlington, week 7 is in the books.
Yes, it is.
And Arlington, here on the X-Fan Show, we have a lot to say and we keep it honest.
That's a fact.
That is a fact. I heard that a lot today. That we keep it. What did Amanda say? I am pulled over on the side of the road. Oh, I just got out. Hold on. There we go. I'm back. I am pulled over on the side of the road. That is an illusion. I have a green screen. It's an illusion.
So we decided to do a special Sunday edition of the show.
Well, let's tell them why, Arlington. Let's tell them why. From here on out, Arlington's works. For the time being, Arlington's work schedule has changed.
Can I say it?
I just said Arlington's work schedule has changed, so we are going to start doing our show Sunday nights after all the games are played, break them down, all of that good stuff for everybody, and just do like we do with the X-Fan Show. You never know what's going to come out of our mouths. Apparently.
It's my fault, ladies and gentlemen. It's always me.
Well, you just have that schedule where you got to bid on it. You know what I'm saying?
It's wonky. It's just wonky.
Well, I mean, listen, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And be paying attention because this summer you might see some afternoon delights come back.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. All right, Arlington, let's get to it.
All right. We had
Shall we?
Of course, the scores down at the bottom. I see you're leaving Memphis, correct? Or is that the illusion?
Yes, I am leaving Memphis. It's the illusion. I'm sitting in the parking lot in Memphis at Liberty Bowl Stadium.
All right. So let's get into it. You want to talk about that
Let's
first
get to
game,
it.
or do you? Mike says.
Well, how do we want to do it, Arlington? It was a blast, Mike. It was good seeing you. Arlington, how do we want to do it? Well, we started this new thing, the best games of the week, right?
We did. So
correct?
I get a phone call and said, "Hey, I need you to put these numbers down and get these reactions and stuff. I mean, get the stats and stuff." So I do. So he does that. It helps me. So the very first game.
So start it off, Arlington. No, let's go with the worst. Arlington, we go with the worst to the first.
Worst to the first? All right.
That's how we did it last week.
The worst game of the week is the game that he just left.
Well, give the score. No, Arlington, see, you're doing it wrong. We got to give the score in the total yards.
Okay. So DC beat San Antonio 32-24, as you see at the bottom. Total yards, DC 352, San Antonio 350.
So you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong since we're going from the worst. So we're going from the worst to the last. The worst game in the week, as we talked about it, Arlington, and we discussed it, right? The score was 17.
He was going to let the fans figure that one out.
Oh, okay. Go for it then.
Whatever. No, it's our show. We do it how we want to do. St. Louis and Memphis. Total yards. Final score was 19-9, of course. Total yards, St. Louis 257, Memphis 273. Passing yards 158, 196. That means Memphis had the 196, St. Louis 158. Rushing, St. Louis 113, Memphis 89. And total combined yards 530.
Correct.
All right.
Now, Arlington, what I don't think a lot of people realize, right? So you do realize that in the first quarter and a half, first quarter and a half, St. Louis's passing yard was -10. -10 passing yards in the first quarter and a half. The most yards in the entire game were by Max Duggan at 51 yards rushing in 1 touchdown. Jacob Saylor's, I don't remember Jacob Saylor's. I think he had like 30-something yards in the first quarter and a half or whatever with a touchdown, But Arlington, here's the thing. Again, I go back to it. We all complained in St. Louis that we were tired of Manny. We were tired of Manny. We were tired of Manny, right? We wanted to see Max. But has it been any different? No. You're talking in Arlington, Max Duggan stats in these last 3 games. Are you ready? Are you ready, Arlington?
Go for it, man.
In I guess that would be week 4. He had 124 yards with 1 touchdown passing. Week 5, 93 yards with 1 touchdown. Today, 158, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So Arlington, what is that? How many total yards is that for a passing quarterback? 124. 124. 93. 158.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
That's a 3 games.
I'm supposed to have a calculator out already, but let's see. 124, 98.
93.
Oh. Minus 3.
93. 158. For a grand total of what, Arlington?
So 124, 93. God dang it. I can't get these calculators to work. 93,
and 158.
375. If you divide that by 3, that's $1.25 per game.
So he's averaging $1.25 a game for the last 3 games. Now we're 3-0. Don't get me wrong, we're 3-0.
No, but they are 3-0. I ain't playing on the team.
No. You're 3-0. We went 4-0 this week in our picks. But Arlington, now the defense is what's been saving us. But Arlington, here's the funny stat. I had said on B-Hog Live, do not sleep on this Memphis team. Arlington, did you know in the first quarter and a half, they were negative 10 yards. They did not make their first positive yard pass of 31 yards until the 9-minute and 30-second mark in the second quarter of the Battlehawks. That was to Greg Jennings.
That was
not a plus passing yard.
Until then.
Not a plus, yes. And that was that 31-yard shot to Greg Jennings.
That's nuts.
Now,
man.
The question you have to ask yourself if you're a Battlehawk fan is 2 questions, right? 2 questions. Are we really as good as we think we are? As the great Dennis Green says, crown them. They are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. Crown them. Crown them then. Number 2, are we a championship team? Now, the defense is playing good, but Arlington, we got Birmingham coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got a team that we always seem to have trouble against with the Brahmas coming up. And we got DC, who DC, if you now recall, holds the record against us for the better team. Is this a championship team?
Yeah. I get it.
Now, mind you, Memphis, Arlington, as you said, total yards, 273, 196 for the passing, and 89 passing yards. But here's Dresser wins passing over the last 3 games. Are you ready for it?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
235. 207. In 196 today for a total of the last 3 games, 638 yards. He's 3-1 for touchdowns and interceptions.
Divide that by 3, you're looking at 213 yards a game.
Right. Now, in the interview, in the post, I asked Coach Turner, because Coach Turner was kind of hard on his team. I'm like, Coach, it's like, I don't know if you realize, but in the last 3 games, Your guys' total yards are 223, 297, 273 for a total of 883 yards. Total yards in the last 3 games for Memphis. But they're 0-3. So I asked him, I'm like, Coach, you guys have been playing great ball. Defense has been playing great. What is it that you guys just can't get over that hump? Coach Turner's comment, and you can see it in the press conference. He goes, it's my aggressiveness, the way I'm doing it. So let's mind you, Arlington, today he went for 2, not 1, but 2 4-and-1s, one in his territory and one in the Battlehawks territory, and didn't get them.
4-and-1s. You got to explain that to the people.
Fourth down, 1 yard to go. 4th and 1. He went for 2 of them, but they did not convert them. He's like, I'm tired of losing. My guys are tired of losing. We're going to be aggressive from here on out. Now, you got to give the man credit. That takes a sack. That takes a sack. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to be that aggressive. You can't deny that. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're not wrong about that at all. You have to be aggressive, especially when you're a team that is now 1-6.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find ways to make stuff happen. And right now it's just not happening for the Showboats at this point. And you only give up 9 points and you get in the yard. And what I've seen in a lot of these games that we're talking about, that we're going to be talking about in a minute, is the fact that they're getting the yards, especially in the air, but they're not seeing the end zone. That is correct. Been the key thing here. That has been weird to me. And is it because defenses are catching up, or is it because they're just a step slower? We're trying to figure this out, the landscape of the game flow of these UFL games this season.
Yeah, it's been really weird with the game flow of the way these UFL games have went this year. But again, Arlington, it goes back to this. Like we said last year, 80% of these games were all won by 1 possession, right?
Right.
We're starting to see that again this year. If you really look at it, a 19-9 game is what? A possession and a half? Right?
Yeah, it's a 10-point game, so it's a 2-possession game. You gotta take on that anything over 9 points is a 2-possession game. Right.
But I mean, again, it goes back to those last 5 minutes that we've been preaching of this game, because almost every single one of these games, well, 3 of the 4 have been decided in the last 5 minutes of the game. Besides this game. Besides the St. Louis and the Battlehawk games. So if you go by stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
The St. Louis Battlehawk game and the Memphis Showboat game would be the game that was. Now, again, if you're going offense, you're going defense. Okay, if you go defense, then it probably was it was the best game, right? But if you're an offensive guy, then it was the worst game of the week.
It's always been about these offenses. The offenses just haven't seemed to mesh as we would have hoped, like we've seen in the past. Like we've seen in 2024, the offenses was a little better. 23 was actually higher. Believe it or not, in 2020, despite the fact they were learning the rules of the game, by the time we got to about week 3, week 4, week 5, the offenses were up there. You know, we were getting the yardage and stuff like that, and we were getting a great game.
Put up this comment right here, Arlington. I can't. Put up this comment right here. I want to see it. Yeah.
If our defense keeps going, then I think we're a contender for a championship. But our offense is not enough to really carry us unless we figure it out more.
All right. So, Mike, let me ask you this, Arlington, and me and Daddy Ed. What does it say? I can't.
I'm cold on Max Duggan.
Listen, you go by the stats, I'm cold on the guy. He has the least amount of passing yards in the last 3 games since he's been a starter, right? I'm cold on the guy. Now, don't get me wrong. The dude's a great rusher. Guy's a great mobile quarterback. I'm not going to take that away from him, right? But go back to Mike's comment. Okay? Arlington, in this league, what have we seen win games? Not defenses, offenses.
Yeah. I want to say to that effect, it's more of bad defensive stops and more offensive plays being made. because the offenses are not like they're over 300, 400 yards in a game. Because I remember when the XFL was 25-second play clocks, it just seemed to speed the game up more. You know what I mean? I understand they chose to go back to 30, 35 seconds or so with the clock. 30 seconds.
35, because they were talking about it today. Yes, they talked about it today. Yeah, 35.
Amanda said you can't compare Duggan and Perkins. There's no comparison.
And I mean, you look at it, when you get a high-powered offense, like when the Battlehawks played Michigan, what happened? That defense didn't stop them. And right now, if I'm looking at it, the only thing that's stopping Michigan is Birmingham. If Michigan gets to the championship, I don't see a team beating them. I don't see a team in this league beating the Michigan Panthers because they just play lights out ball. And I mean, and we're going to go into it because of the Arlington game to go. But I mean, Arlington, if we go by the stats, and we said that we were going to determine which game is the best game to the worst game by the total yards per game, right? That's how we said we're going to decide it, of what is our opinion of the best from the worst, right?
Right.
So if you look at it right now, St. Louis sits 2 weeks in a row, sits at the worst game of the week.
That's actually the easiest pick.
Correct.
That's it is the easiest of this week.
Because there are other things in factor.
They're a little bit more difficult because of how the landscape of the games work.
Well, and then how the game plays out and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If we're going to see,
because we put Houston last week. What did Mike say? Let me see what he says.
Let's say I agree. Panthers are the team to beat by a long shot. Nah, I disagree. It's still the Stallions because it doesn't matter who you throw out there at quarterback. They still finding ways to win.
I mean, listen, you're right, and we're going to get to that one, which is actually Arlington. The next game was 25-33, right? With a total yards of 6.
That was not my pick after that.
But it was 626 yards, combined. And it was the Birmingham Stallions against the Houston Roughnecks.
That was not my pick, but okay.
No, that's my pick for the fourth worst game.
Third.
Roughnecks for the third. Roughnecks are going into the game. They're up 25-12 going into the half?
25-6, I thought.
Was it?
Was it 12? Hold on.
Well, because I was on the field, walking the field, right?
Uh-huh.
What is that one comment about the Stallions?
Oh, it was 25.
Because that's the team we're going to. Okay. What's that one about the Stallions?
Derek says somebody's going to beat the Stallions when it matters the most in the playoffs. What's going on, Keelan? Afternoon.
And listen, and if I look at it, I would have to say it's going to be Michigan. Michigan's going to be the team that's going to beat them. But
Keelan got
they haven't beat Michigan. Okay, what's up?
You drove to Memphis?
I did, but I am sitting in the Liberty Bowl parking lot right now.
Mike says more like the Houston Choke Necks. I was really hoping the Roughnecks will hold on.
Okay, so let's get to that, Arlington. They're up 25-12, right? Jalen McClellan is playing lights out the first quarter, okay? Come back in the second half. I mean, listen. I mean, yeah, you're right. He only went 134 total passing yards.
Right, but the thing was, they were up 25-6 before.
That is true.
Before it led to that, it says, but Michigan can't seem to beat Birmingham for some reason. Oh, they said the price is wrong.
I mean, listen. I mean, look, let's not take anything away from Birmingham. The quarterback carousel that they've had all season long. I mean, Case Cookus has been there, 2 weeks now?
2-3 weeks.
Right, you just signed Jamar Chase. Then you just signed Smith. You just signed another guy, right?
Jalen Horton.
Kukas goes, Kukas goes down in the third quarter, and then Jamar comes in. Already knows Coach Holtz's playbook, right? And Birmingham shows why they're still the best team in this league, why they're one of the better teams in this league. Because for some reason, Coach Holtz just knows how to win. Knows how to win.
I'm just floored. I'm floored by this. I'm ridiculously floored by how this game turned out. I'm looking at the summary, just the scoring summary of the game itself. And I'm seeing Houston, Birmingham. Then it was, 6 times Houston has scored on something. And then
Houston went.
Birmingham.
Houston went. They scored, 5 times in the first quarter? Or in the first half? 5 times. 5 consecutive drives. They scored.
They had 3 touchdown drives in the first quarter. Then they scored again.
Right.
They scored in the second.
Yeah.
They had 2 rushing touchdowns, a pick 6, and then there was a touchdown, the Chisholm pass. Touchdown to Chisholm.
Correct. What is that comment right there?
Which one?
No, I want the Price one.
Price plays to maintain a lead, not dominate a team. He needs to go, not the man for the OC position in Houston. Amanda says, Battlehawks better hope Silvers isn't coming in because he didn't know what play was being ran. And I'm going to need the graphics person to know how old Brandon Silvers is. Because they posted on the screen that he was 24, right. And I'm like, did y'all not go over the roster?
Right. Let's go back to Odin's comment about Price, right?
Because it was wrong.
Well, I mean, listen, it reminds me of Chuck Long.
And when he was in
you
St.
get the
Louis,
lead. Yes, you get the lead, but then you don't play for the lead. You play just to maintain the lead and not dominate a team.
Because you just mentioned it. Who had dealt with that this past weekend too? And his name is Chuck Long.
Right. Okay. So Arlington, who are you going to go with as your third worst game of the week? I'm saying who
would be the better game? You can't say the third worst, but you say who would the better than that? I would have said San Antonio, DC San Antonio with them winning 32-24.
Really? Now they were at 709 yards.
Granted, yes, the yardage does not outweigh how the score went down, and
that is true.
I know you want to go by that, but my thing is the way the game flow was a whole lot different than what the other 2 games that I'm going to select was, right? DC was more ahead in those games. It wasn't no back and forth. It was more of, it was a tie score. It did go back and forth.
It did. It really did.
Back and forth, but it would not be the one I had. The deficit was different, man. I don't know. Just the deficit was a little different.
Because so I got to ask the doorman a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Coach, another game. And we sat here and we've all dogged on Jordan Ta'amu and all of this, right, about his completion rating. Do you realize Jordan went, 12 for 12 in the second half? 12 for 12. Did not miss a pass, nothing.
And probably threw for best accurate game of the season.
Oh, hands down. That's why I would put that game at number 2. Because it was an overall game. Again, now, like we said, these games are going by how many total yards are done, and then the gameplay. So that's why I would put DC and San Antonio at number 2. Because of that, because it was just an overall really good game, right?
I get where you're coming from with that. I get where you're coming from.
You can make the argument, Arlington, that I could say, okay, I could put the DC and San Antonio game at number 3. So I will give you that. You made the argument where I could put DC and San Antonio at number 3, even though
you didn't choose
they had the.
You chose.
No, I just said you made the argument that made me change my mind to put them at number 3.
Why would you change your mind though? You stick with your guns, man. If that's what you
go back to what you said about the Houston and Birmingham game.
Right.
Go back to
it. Wait, and here's the thing. I'm not even making that the number 1 game either.
Oh, I'm not either. So that's the number 2 game.
That's the number 2 game was Houston and Birmingham. Because here's my thing about it. Like, and Odin said it, that he plays to maintain the lead. You are supposed to, at any time, especially when you're playing against the champs. Case in point, I watched that in the NBA far too long now. Where teams are blowing leads left and right. And they cannot maintain because teams are not keeping their foot on these opponents' necks. They're not doing it. They're too busy being conservative that what you wind up doing is that you start making mistakes and you wind up costing yourself in the long run. You're supposed to continue playing the game that you're playing.
Yes.
And now you can make the argument about this, SPURG, about.
Well, here, I'm going to give you a point. I'm going to give you a point in case. You ready? Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say is defenses can adjust and figure out ways to make things different for game flow. Now you can make.
What is this moving forward comment? I want to see that one.
It's just Keelan saying moving forward.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Mike says don't take your foot off the gas. You're supposed to just bury it.
So there you go. So like you were just saying, Arlington, right?
Mm-hmm. Derek says that's what I love about the UFL. No lead is safe.
Right. Let's not forget 2023. When the Battlehawks had the lead against Seattle Sea Dragons. And then what happened in that second quarter? Ben DiNucci, Jay Peasy, and those guys, and Jim Haslett took that game over. They did. They went for the jugular in that game, and they scored a buttload of points to take that lead. Now, regardless if the Battlehawks would have won that game or whatever, because in those last 2 weeks, the Sea Dragons just they were putting up 40 and 50 points in those last 2 weeks to take the lead and to take it. And that's the one thing we know about this league. It's about the point differential where you're sitting at in a tie.
Right.
That's why the Battlehawks didn't make it in 2023.
Which is, and I get that a lot of people were upset about that, but you're supposed to get the job done. You beat Seattle. We're not even talking about that. I think Seattle is the one crying about the fact that they were 7-3 and they didn't make the playoffs. No,
Seattle made the playoffs. The Battlehawks were 7-3.
I get that. I said if the roles were reversed, they would have been 8-2 for the year. Right.
What does this say right here? Right. What is that one there?
How bad does it look for the league when commentators start talking about the betting lines and teams covering, i.e. the Houston game when they brought up how the 5.5 was about to fail after being covered all game? Well, that's the part of the game now. But my thing my thing about it, there's nothing wrong with it because they're being told that they need to talk about that.
Correct.
For the same lines that folks are out there betting on these games, and they're making that a part of the culture now. So it's nothing really wrong with that. My thing is that's just the culture we're in now. That's now all a part of it. And I don't see that's not a bad look. A bad look is when you're saying that the UFL is a second-rate league, which like team obvious. We kind of already know that, but we're trying to build something better for this league where they can be the premier spring league and not have to deal with the pressures and the weirdness of what's going on in the NFL. But beside the point, I have to take a step back. Rodrigo Blankenship right now is the Jake Bates of last year. And I'm not using it as, wait. Okay. I'm not using it off of his leg. I'm using it off of his accuracy. That's what I'm going off of. It's more an accurate kicker. And I get it. Harrison Mevis over in Birmingham is doing a phenomenal job as well. Like I can see him getting some in somebody's camp in the upcoming season. But Blankenship has been in the NFL, because I know that's where you're going to go with that.
No, that's not where I'm going to go, because I'm going to go with somebody completely different. Let's go to a couple comments before I go to my point.
Derek said that Battlehawk season, they controlled their own destiny. Yeah,
correct.
Sabrina said CJ had a chance to make points the other week, and he did. And I said it's going to come back to bite him this week. They didn't play to dominate. Mike said it's all about the Benjamins. Money is made off betting. And he says from comments all over Facebook pages, it makes it look more scripted per fan comments. Okay.
And I listen, I get it. I get why they're saying that, and why the fans are saying that, and all that. But we've already had our Jake Bates moments a bunch of times. And it's done by one guy. And it's a guy that me and you, Arlington, talked about in the very beginning of the season to say, when this kid gets his shot, he is going to be the player to watch, and that's Bryce Perkins. Bryce Perkins has played himself, but I'm just saying, Bryce Perkins has played himself into a camp invite, preseason invite, something. Bryce Perkins has played himself back into the NFL by the way he's been playing over the last couple games.
Facts, and I can't deny him that whatsoever. And the reason why I was throwing Jake Bates, I was going by more of the kicker. But here's the thing. You haven't seen what you just mentioned. You haven't really seen a position player get himself, especially a quarterback, that can potentially get himself a position or a camp invite where he could potentially make the roster other than Adrian Martinez. Okay. All right. Let me not go the bus like Adrian Martinez did. Bryce Perkins is going to have even bigger and greater than what Adrian Martinez has with the Jets.
Well, and also, let's just not remember that he's also a Super Bowl champ with the LA Rams.
That's right.
So now he's coming out playing lights out ball in the UFL. He's a Super Bowl champ. And imagine if he wins the UFL championship,
it's just going to make it greater.
He can be the only player in spring football, in professional football, to say, I want a Super Bowl and I want a UFL championship. He can be the only player to say that. Hands down, right?
Right.
All right, so Arlington, we go to game number 2. And I think that we can agree, because like I said, you made me change my mind, right? You made me change my mind. I'm going to say it's the DC or the
Birmingham and Houston.
Birmingham and Houston game, for the simple fact, they had the score was 25-33. They had 626 total yards between the two teams. But what made this game, and it's like people have been saying, no lead is safe in this game. You should never take your foot off the accelerator. You play to rip the person's, like Dalton did in Roadhouse. You fight to rip the neck out of your opponent. And as much as I love C.J. Johnson, he did not do that today. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Well, hold on, let me finish, and then I'll let you go. I don't know what it is about Skip Holtz, what he does, how he gets this team to do it with the carousel that he's had for quarterbacks, how he gets this team to never give up in a game. I mean, there's a reason why you're 27-4 in Birmingham at home. There's a reason why. I don't know what it is, but needs to give a lesson on what to do and to have his players not give up. Coming back from 18 points down and to win this game, That's definitely the second best game of the week.
19. But still,
I agree with you.
The fact of the matter
19 points.
The fact of the matter is, it's still a comeback, and it happened.
Correct.
You allowed it to happen. And
yep.
I just seen at certain points during the game where McClendon just was not, like, it was a totally different game plan. It's because Birmingham was rushing more on Jalen and making him make errant throws where he just was throwing the ball. He wasn't getting time to get set. It was like the offensive line collapsed on him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, y'all sit there and was having this whole, we got a lead. That once the third quarter kicked in, you forgot that you even had the lead.
To be honest, Darlington, I'll say it was when the fourth quarter kicked in, because that's when it really started coming on. When Jamar Smith got in there in that fourth quarter, that's when it really got turned on. Because it was like he never even lost a step. I mean, he had 77 passing yards. 77 passing yards.
Final quarter by himself, yeah.
Right. And I don't even remember how many rushing yards he had. But, I mean, he literally took that game over. Took it over. I don't know what it is they're putting in the water in Birmingham when they go there, or Jamar. You know, he's sitting on he retires from football, and then a week later he comes in, and then all of a sudden he wins a game. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Hey, props to him, though. Props to him.
I can even see Horton coming in this mix and winning the game for Birmingham at this rate during the season, because it's like Skip Holtz is like Kevin Stefanski with the Cleveland Browns a couple years ago. Like, what in the world? How are you able to pull this one off? I'm still mad about that, by the way.
I don't get it. What did Amanda say there?
No, both sides defenses were tired. She said DC and Michigan are the two teams that have thrown the most TDs this season, hands down.
That is true.
I think Bryce Perkins would be a good fit for the Jets or the New Orleans Saints. Jamar said in the interview, Springer said that he knows what Coach Skip wants, so he knows how to play the way he wants him to.
Right, exactly. It's just that simple.
So now, how do you prepare for Jamar Smith? And we got some good games coming up. St.
Louis has got to play Birmingham next week.
I'm there, baby. I am in the house for that game.
You don't. Me and Amanda are sitting in the end zone, 2 rows off the field. How do you know how to prepare for Birmingham? Hey. It seems like Skip Holtz can throw any quarterback he wants out there, and then they're going to win.
St. Louis, believe me when I say this. If you want a game that you want to attend, Saturday's game is the game to attend. Okay? Listen. And it's a doubleheader, and it's going to be regional. It's a regional action game. There's going to be 2 games going on at the same time.
Right.
The Stallions and the Roughnecks. And believe me, folks, the majority of the country is going to get Birmingham versus
St. Louis is playing the Stallions. You said Roughnecks and Stallions. Roughnecks are playing somebody else.
The Panthers and the Roughnecks. Which, mind you, I understand the landscape here. If both teams take a loss, that's going to be nuts. But Birmingham and St. Louis cannot do what they did against Memphis the last 2 weeks against Birmingham.
No, dude, first of all, they can't do what they've done in the last 3 weeks. Let me mind you again, as a quarterback, 124, 93, 158. That's Max Duggan's.
Right, passing yards. Are you saying how to having both games being played at the same time on Saturday? Yeah, that's how that's going. They chose to do it this time. It's going to be regional action. And I guarantee you, majority of the country is getting the Stallions. The television audience is getting the Stallions.
Well, I would say everybody south of the St. Louis. I'd say south of the St. Louis line, everybody's getting across the. If you split the U.S. in half, the South is going to get the St. Louis Birmingham game, and maybe go right underneath Chicago, and they'll get the Michigan and Roughnecks game.
You might get half. Because everything west of Houston might get that game, and then everything east of St. Louis.
That's true. It might. You know what? You might be right, Arlington. Who knows?
St. Louis might get the other game.
Right. You're right. You never know. No, in Michigan will get the Michigan game.
Yeah. The crowd is going to be the difference. Yes.
Now listen, me and Arlington have talked about it. Arlington, we've talked about it. No USFL team has came into the one yet.
And won. They have not won yet. Not a USFL team has come in.
They have not won.
Birmingham trying to be the first. I am in the house for this game. I cannot wait.
But I will say this. If there is one USFL team I am scared of to come into the Dome and to roll the Battlehawks, it is Birmingham.
I'm telling you, St. Louis, this is the game you want to attend.
Well, we'll talk about it more because now we're going to go to our number one game of the week
it's Michigan
for the second week in a row. Michigan and Arlington. Listen, you're talking the score was 25-24. This game went back and forth. Arlington, like we've said in the last 5 minutes.
That's why.
Listen, like we've said in the last 5 minutes of every single game has been the determining factor. And again, the last 5 minutes of this game definitely determined this game.
All right.
Definitely determined this game.
Let me read my comment. He says, it's as if spring football coaches are often not the same version of themselves in this setting. They're not cold-hearted finishers. They're softer about letting up and or treating each game as youth sports and letting every player get their opportunity. I believe it's harming the league, which desperately needs stars. That's the main reason why
100% agree.
Messed up against the Battlehawks.
Yep.
That was the main reason. You nailed it. That's the main reason that they screwed up and they should have won that game against St. Louis. You took out
hands down
just so we can get a shot, and they messed it up.
You mean you took out Bryce Perkins? You put out Bryce Perkins.
I'm sorry, you took out Bryce Perkins. You enter in Etling, and he throws an interception. To a pick six.
No, not just an interception. Not just an interception. A pick six.
You threw a pick six. Ruin the flow.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We'll be there, man. I'm there. I'm there. That's the game I'm there for.
Right now, I mean, Arlington. Let's look at this game. It was 25-24, determined in literally the last second of the game. Right. This game was probably the most even game, other than the rushing yards. Total yards. The Panthers were at 331 to 336 by the total yards by the Renegades. 227 passing to 304 passing for the Renegades. But the big difference was Toa and Bryce Perkins, 104 rushing yards to 32 rushing yards for a total of 667 total yards in this game. Arlington, combined, we've preached it. Forget watching the first 50 minutes of these games because they're not very good.
55 minutes.
55. Forget watching the first 55 minutes of these games because they're not good. Watch the last 5 minutes, and this game shows why the last 5 minutes of the UFL is so exciting. Bryce Perkins, you talk about a Jake Bates moment, Daryl Johnson. Daryl Johnson, you talk about a Jake Bates moment. Well, guess what, sir? You got it this on Saturday.
Right. That means Michigan gets a second player.
You got it this Saturday. Arlington, I mean, is it not the Jake Bates moment of the season? He takes the team down 80 yards with 2 minutes left in the game. Scores the touchdown, gets the touchdown. Okay? To tie the game. Okay?
True. But here's my thing. I was getting mad at Mike Nolan when they were running the ball. They were running the ball in the middle of that. I'm serious. Hey, Spurge, I'm sitting there and I'm looking.
I get it.
Why the freak are you running the ball? And guess what? That's why he's the coach and I'm the fan. Because
well, think about it. And Amanda was saying the exact, Amanda You know, because she was at work and I'm watching the game, and she's like, "Why are they running the ball?" And she says it all the time. I'm like, "Get it? You're in 5 minutes. You have the ball. Why do you want to even give a shot? You're rushing. I mean, 104 yards rushing, Arlington. You pull it up, and I guarantee you the majority of those rushing yards all came in the fourth quarter. Was there clock management? Was it for the Michigan? Because
clock management was questionable with the timeouts they had. It worked out great in the end for them. Case in point, the final play of the freaking game. 7 seconds to go. Perkins heads for the end zone. He stopped short. They stopped the clock is said 0. If you watch the game, the clock is 0. The problem was, which was, believe it or not, the right call. It was supposed to be stopped at 1 second, which gives Nolan a chance to call a timeout and run one more play. A lot of people were sitting there, even Stoops was pissed off about that. It's like, why were they able to get a second play?
Listen, I was in that interview.
Because I'm saying,
no, we're not blasting you, Amanda. We're not blasting you. We're just saying
the same thing. I was like, why are they running the ball?
But and I get why they ran. I get it. And it was funny because I was in that press conference. In every single press conference I've been in where Bob Stoops has taken a bad beat, right? Now, how long has Bob Stoops been in this league, Arlington?
Ever since 2020.
How is it, Coach, Mr. Stoops, Coach Stoops? You've been in this league since 2020, and you still don't know the rules of this game. How is it? Because every single game, every game that they lose on something that they should have won or whatever, right? He has complained about the rule. That rule is dumb. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like this. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, we have all seen the rule books. The rule books have been out there by every single show, every single outlet that's covered this. You know what I'm saying? They've all seen the rules. We've all seen them. I don't understand how Bob Stoops still does not know the rules. I still don't understand it. I still don't. It makes no sense to me, Arlington. None.
I'm still trying to figure out how in the world that the Arlington Renegades have not had a winning season ever since they've been a part of spring football.
And they're an XFL champion. How is that possible? They won the championship being 4-6 in 2023.
Thanks to the Houston Roughnecks, mind you.
Right.
Who crapped the bed in the XFL in the South.
In the South Championship, right, yeah.
Oh, crap the bed. Like, how in the world you had the upper hand? Oh, but y'all want to say because Luis Perez is the reason for it? And guess what? They won and they beat Jordan Te'amu right after that.
They did. They did. So there.
Kick his ball and win.
He might have been. He might have been because he gets pissed. He gets pissed in the press conference. He gets pissed at the press conferences, you know. But Arlington, there's the week. So let's go to our power rankings that we do. Okay. Arlington, this week we have to do a little bit of change, and we've had Birmingham we've had the Brahmas in last place over the past 2 weeks, right?
This is the bottom is going to be a rough one. Oh my God!
Well, no, not really. Listen,
two of them are bad. Both of them are bad, man.
Listen, I hate to say it. What did they say here about Akeem Butler?
2 touchdowns, 150 yards coming this weekend against Birmingham.
Okay, Derek. Derek, what are you smoking? Whatever you're smoking, I'd like to smoke some of that.
Hey, he said he pulling another Randy Moss game. Okay.
Oh yeah, he got shut down today, didn't he? He got shut down today.
Not saying anything.
I did. He got shut down.
And then guess what? You're gonna say something about it.
That's fine, but did he not get shut down? Did he not?
I didn't see his name in the stat sheet.
Exactly. I saw a pass go right to him, and he bobbled it, and there was an interception.
I didn't see his name in the score sheet.
Right. I didn't either. Anyways, Arlington, as much as I hate to say it, and I know you're going to agree with me. But number 8,
man.
He did what?
Yeah, 1 catch, 6 yards.
Yeah, 1 catch, 6 yards, and then he also had another catch that was picked off. Put up what Mike says.
He was a ghost today on the field who couldn't catch a cold.
Exactly. He couldn't. He couldn't catch. He couldn't. If he had a big pile of dog poo-poo in his hand, he couldn't catch flies with it. That's how bad he was today. Arlington, as much as I hate to say it, I'm sitting in the parking lot of this great city. Memphis is number 8 this week.
I'm disagreeing with you.
Whoa, really?
You know who's number 8 this week? You want to know who's number 8 this week?
Sure.
The Houston Roughnecks are number 8 this week due to the collapse that they had in the game.
Oh, damn it. You got me. You're right. Because they're at 229 total yards. All right.
A game that you won and you just collapsed completely.
Okay. I can see.
Number 8 is the Roughnecks.
The Roughnecks will be number 8. I can concede to you. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I can concede.
I know you would.
Now, number 7 would have to be the Memphis Showboats at 273 total yards. Okay. You know, but the thing is Memphis was never really out of this game against St. Louis. But St. Louis's defense was really, really good at this. So I'll give it to you. Houston at number 8. Wow, that's a big drop for Houston this week. And Memphis at number.
So no.
Memphis at number 7.
Showboats are number 7. Okay.
All right, Arlington. Who do you have as our number 16?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna go with the Renegades.
Hold on, I was going through a little spotty area. You're going with the Renegades at number 6?
I sure am.
336. They lose. They blow a big lead. You know what? I'll have to agree with you. I could put the Renegades at number 6. I can agree with you.
I'm not going by record. I'm not going by record at all, folks. I'm going by how the game was played.
No, we never do. We never do. You're right. We go by game, how the game was played in their total yards.
And the flow of the game is how we're choosing who's going to be on the top of the power rankings. Ain't got nothing to do with record.
Right, so I agree with you.
Like, okay, y'all are crazy. Y'all sitting there talking. Like, why are you saying that these people? I'm telling you why. This is the reason.
Right, yeah. I mean, listen. Arlington had total yards of 336 yards, 24 points. 304 and 32 rushing yards, right? Mm-hmm. Another game, they had the lead, lost it in the end of the game, in the last seconds of the game. So, yeah, I mean, I can agree with you and put them at number 6.
Okay.
All right, now, Arlington, we're at number 5. I think the biggest shock then, even though they lost –
but it wasn't because it was just some other stuff. It
wasn't because they played terrible, because they had a total of 357 yards, 207 passing yards, 150 rushing yards, and scored 24 points. The San Antonio Brahmas.
It's number 5, baby. That's it.
Is number 5. Because now again, that's another team like Memphis that has had a head coaching carousel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that. Has had a quarterback carousel and all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, they have to be number 5 if you look at it that way.
Okay.
Because they very well easily could have beat DC because they were playing very well against DC until that second quarter. And then Jordan just went lights out in that second quarter, or that second half. Lights out. All right, now we're at number 4?
I got mine.
I think we're gonna agree, and I think we're gonna piss a lot of people off.
No, we're not. Oh,
I think so.
I know who my number 14 is.
Who are you going with number 4?
That team in St. Louis.
Yep, I will agree with you. The St. Louis Battlehawks, you get 19 points, 257 yards, total yards, 158 passing yards, 113 rushing yards. The only thing that saved you was your defense in this game.
Mike agrees, Battlehawks.
Okay, Mike. So, yeah, the Battlehawks are definitely the number 4 team in this right now in the power rankings. So that dropped the Battlehawks 2 spots, Arlington, because we had them at number 2 last week.
We did have it at number 2. So that's going to be,
a lot of people. There were a lot of other shows that had them at number 1. I don't know how you can have them at number 1.
Number 1 and number 2 is going to be nuts. I don't know what to do with this.
No, I think it's easy again. All right, number 3. Number 3, Arlington.
I'm telling you, Lamar, it's not easy. It's not easy. I can tell you. You ready? Number 3 is the DC Defenders. That's my number 3. Was that yours? No.
No, it wasn't.
Who was it?
It wasn't. Are you ready? You ready? Right. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked by it because I'm dropping them down 2 spots. The Michigan Panthers. Yes, I'm dropping them down. 331 total yards, 227 passing yards, with 104 rushing yards. I'm putting the Panthers at, even though they won the game against Arlington, right?
Okay.
What DC and Birmingham did was impressive to make them my top 2 teams.
Wow.
I understand why you would put Michigan. I understand why you would put Michigan where you're going to put them, because I have a feeling you're going to put them probably in the 2 spot. I understand why you would. Okay, but for me, the 2 spot. See, that's how well I know you, that you would put the Panthers at number 2. But for me, go ahead.
Even though I had them, they were going to be number 1. And the only reason why I'm saying it was because of the last seconds. But I can't do that.
You can't. Not over the last 2 teams. Not over the last 2 teams.
Are you saying who is your number 2 team?
They scored 32 points. They went 352, 282, and 70 rushing yards. Jordan probably had one of his best games in the league so far. So I have to put them at number 2. So for me, they stay at number 2. It's Birmingham. Listen, again,
easy money.
Again, Arlington, you come back from 19 points. You come back with a quarterback who hadn't played all year, was retired, came back with a week's worth of practice, but he knew coach's playbook. I mean, listen. You're talking 33 points, 397 yards, 225 passing yards, 142 rushing yards.
In a game where they were left for dead.
The game they were left for dead going into the second half.
Yeah, and then they found life. Cookies is out. Blessing in disguise, I guess, for Jamar Smith. He comes in and lights it up.
In the fourth quarter. All of that was done in the fourth quarter.
Where it mattered the most.
That's what we got to remember. That all happened in the fourth quarter, what Jamar did.
It mattered the most then.
Right. So there's our power rankings for this week of week 7 going into week 8. What does Eric say? What does Eric say right there?
If the Stallions give us a lead like they gave the Roughnecks, we ain't losing.
Oh, yeah, we are, Eric. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are, Eric. Listen, I'm still taking.
Was it an epic comeback or an epic collapse? That's the argument that you're going to have to take upon yourselves.
Okay, well, so here's why I would say it's an epic comeback. Jamar Smith had not played football at all this year. Not taken a snap until Monday. Didn't even get first team reps. Chase Cook has got all the first team reps. He comes in halfway through, was it the third quarter?
Near the end. The game near the end.
and takes his team back from 19 points. Me and Arlington talked about it before. Houston did not have an answer for Jamar Smith. They did not have an answer for him. Now, can you imagine, Arlington? We've seen what Jamar Smith can do. We saw it in 2020. What was it? 2022? Was he the – no, who was the –
He was. Jamar Smith was the starting quarterback in 22.
Won a championship. We saw what he did if he gets all the first-team reps. Listen, that Birmingham team is good. That Birmingham team is good. That coach and coaching staff is good. I mean, hell, you heard Skip Holt say it in the game. My stuff's not working. Cookus is like, my stuff's not, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yet, they still found a way to win. I don't know what Holtz does, but his teams find a way to win. I mean, they even got a winning record on the road. But now, it is going to be a little different playing in the Battle Dome, but we'll see.
This is why it's an epic collapse. It's an epic collapse because you had the champs with your foot on their necks, 25-6. They were in a disarray. Yes, they did score to end the half. You're still up 13 at the time. All you have to do is reset in the second half back to where you once were when you got to those 25 points. You went to your running game.
Put up Eric's comment. Put up Eric's comment.
You mean David's comment?
Yeah, put up David's comment.
Give me a second.
Okay, go ahead.
The whole thing with that was you went to your running game. You scored twice on the ground. Correct. It's like you moved away from that. You wanted to make Jalen more of a passer. Okay. It's supposed to be a mixed bag when you come up with these ideas to get back up in the game. And it's like you went away from it. And you look at Birmingham's defense will step up when it comes down to the second half. And they look like all else has failed. It's like the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. When they were up 20 points, the New York Knicks, like, we got them right where we want them. And that's what Birmingham was saying in this game. We got Houston right where we want them. And they had kept coming back, making plays, making Jalen McClendon uncomfortable. It's like they completely, after that, it threw out Price's game plan. And Birmingham had control from that moment on.
Right. I can see both points. All right, now put up in Arlington. I want you to go to the UFL.com. Okay.
Do you think the offense can stay with the Stallions offense? I know our defense can slow them down, but can our offense keep
okay. So again, Arlington, I want you to go back to the last 3 games. Last 3 weeks for our defense, okay?
For the Bauhaus, right?
Well, just go to week 5 and week 6 because I have the total yards right here.
Okay.
Okay.
So week 6.
How many total yards who did they play last week? Who did they play last week?
The Renegades.
All right. How many total yards did the Renegades have last week? And add this up, Arlington. You do
210.
How much?
210.
Okay, so put 210 down, right? 210.
Okay, 210.
That's how many total yards the Birmingham gave up to the Renegades, right?
No, that's St. Louis to the
Renegades. No. I want you to go to what Birmingham gave up to their teams that they played.
Okay. Well, let me go back.
So go to week 6.
I'm telling you, this is going to be totally different than what you're thinking. I'm telling you this.
No, it's not. Go to it, and I want to show you. Go to it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you the difference, and you're going to be like, okay, I see what you mean now. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let you get your piece off. Okay, they had 3 points against – they gave up 3 points against Birmingham, final stats.
Go to Birmingham's total yards that they gave up to their team they played.
178 against Birmingham.
Who did?
Against the Brahmas.
Okay, so the Brahmas had 178 yards, right?
Yeah.
Total yards. All right. So write that down, Arlington.
And then you had
write down 178. Now go to week 5.
And 229. Go to week 5, you said. Birmingham Stallions. Said week 5 they played against was the Showboats. That's the game they lost.
Okay, but how many total yards did they give up?
323.
Okay. So add those together. Where are we at? Where are we sitting at now?
730.
All right, now add 229 because that's what they gave up today. All right, so what are we sitting at?
730.
730. All right, now Arlington. The Battle Hawks gave up 273 today.
Okay.
Okay. Now go back 2 more weeks. So go to week 5, 6 in week 5.
I gotta go back to the Battle Hawks.
Yep. Now we're giving up their total yards. Right, we're giving up their total yards. So they gave up 273 today.
273 today. All right.
Yep.
They gave up 210 last week.
Okay.
210, right?
Yep.
Then we got one more week, right? That was against
week 5.
That was
against Michigan. And they gave up 401 yards.
Is that what it was?
Something like that.
400. They gave up 400 yards.
All right, what's that total?
883. So the numbers just spoke 730 to 883. That was the Stallions' last 3 weeks.
That's their defense, right?
And that's the defense for St. Louis.
Okay, now
outgained each game.
That is true. They have been. Now, Arlington, let's go to each game, but yet they still keep winning. Now, Arlington, let's go to the offense. Now, I got the Battlehawks number right here for the last 3 weeks. 725. Okay?
Okay. So you want
725.
You want to go to Birmingham's offense, right?
Right. Now, Birmingham for this week was at 397.
Okay.
So go back the next 2 weeks for Birmingham on their offense.
Against the Brahmas.
No, that was against Houston today. 397 against Houston.
The one against the Brahmas is what I'm pulling up now.
How much was it?
313. So 313.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then the last game, the one they lost against
the Showboats.
The Showboats. That was a close one. All by itself, you know.
Yep. How many total yards they give up there?
74 in that one.
All right, add it up.
984. So that's a 200-yard comparison there.
And let's remember, Arlington.
100 give or take on the defensive side.
And let's remember, that is what a carousel of quarterbacks on that team. A carousel of quarterbacks on that team for offense.
That had to be what? 3 quarterbacks? 4?
Yeah, there was like 3 quarterbacks. 3 quarterbacks. 4, yeah.
4.
So the question is, let's go to our picks for this week. So we'll start with Birmingham and St. Louis, right?
Oh man, you got stuff the hardest one.
But all right, fine. Give me the schedule. We'll leave Birmingham. You got those numbers still, though, right, for the 2 teams?
Yeah, man. Gee.
Okay, you still got those 2 numbers for the teams, right?
Yeah. All right. The lower bowl game is going first.
Who's got more points? Click on that one, Arlington. I can't see it.
Who's got more points off turnovers in the last 3 weeks?
Birmingham. Birmingham does.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Birmingham has the best point differential, if I'm not mistaken. They have one of the best defenses in the league.
If nothing else, Houston just needed a field goal or 2, burn clock, and kick a field goal.
That is true.
They couldn't do that.
All right, Arlington, let's go to Friday night's game then, since you don't want to do the Battle Hawk game yet.
It's the Showboats and the Brahmas, man.
Ooh. Wow.
Maybe that one might be harder to do.
Where are they at? Where are they at?
San Antonio.
You know, here's what I'm going to say. I love San Antonio, but talking to Coach Turner today, and we'll be posting the interview later, the press conference later on our Twitter page, so go there and find it. We'll be posting it on our X-Fan Show page. I look at the stats, and I look what Dresser Wynn has done over the last 3 weeks, going 638, 3 touchdowns, one interception, right? The Brahmas did go 357 today.
This weekend, yes.
This weekend.
Think they're gonna do that? You don't think they're gonna do that against the Showboats, huh?
Arlington, are you ready? Even though we both went 4-4 this week, right?
4-0, yeah, we did go 4-0.
4-0.
This is gonna be different. This week.
I'm going to take this Memphis Showboats, because it seems like the Showboats, I don't know why, but it seems like the Showboats play better on the road than they do at Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the Showboats.
They did get the win against Birmingham, right?
They did walk into Birmingham and beat them in Birmingham.
Okay.
And then the 15 people that are there in San Antonio, as much as I love them, they're not going to be that loud enough to make a difference. I love you, Jay.
He's gonna talk about you Tuesday.
I love you, Jay.
I'm going to believe in the Brahmas. I'm going to choose the Brahmas because they're at home. I know they say easier said than done. I'm going to select them. I think they're going to bounce back. And Kevin Hogan did a fantastic job this past week, on Friday night, kept them in the game and had opportunities to win. They just could not hold on to it.
You're right. He did go for 207.
Yeah, and they went for 357 as a team. So
correct.
A lot of people was mad at Jontre Kirkland at the game.
I don't understand how you drop a wide open ball, but that's why he's a player and I'm a guy sitting in a parking lot doing a show with you.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw this comment. Can you tell him that we can see that he's driving?
That's all fake. That's all fake. That is a green screen. I have a green screen in the car and I have it set up that way.
Never mind. Anyway,
it's like to Seinfeld. Like when you're in Seinfeld or Friends, when they're in the car, they have the green screen, and it's just, if you notice, it's the same. It is the same background back and forth. The background hasn't changed. It's the same background.
All right. Let's continue on.
All right.
Let's continue on.
Well, what did Mr. Johnson say there? He's going who?
We're not gonna do. I'm not gonna throw his pick till we put our picks up first.
Well, I want to see what he says. It's the first game.
He got 4 picks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we ain't doing that yet.
He got 4 picks up.
I see he's going with the Brahmas for the first one. Okay.
Right, just like
I. All right, game two,
which is regional action. Panthers Roughnecks. Look,
listen, I love the Roughnecks. I love C.J. Johnson. I love Jaden.
No, you don't.
Jaden McClennan.
No. You're lying to yourself, dude.
Look, this was the hat I was going to wear. Sitting in the press box, but then I found this one in my car. So I decided to wear my Memphis game hat, right?
That actually deserves to be there. Exactly.
Right. Listen, I'm going with Michigan. I'm going with the Panthers.
You know better, right?
Bryce Perkins is a beast. Bryce Perkins is a beast.
Probably another good game coming to close out the week on Sunday is the
Wait, well, who you going with?
The Panthers, dude.
Oh, well, you didn't say that, dude.
The Panthers, dude. Okay.
No
question. Look, I even got it written down.
I can't see that.
I know nobody can.
I can't.
Good.
I know, right? Exactly.
Okay.
Still can't see it. All right. What is the Sunday matchups?
It's only one.
Oh, wait, we're still missing a game. Oh, we got 2 games Saturday?
You got 2 games Saturday, and they both at the same time.
All right, then we got the Battle Hawks versus Brahmas.
The hell with it. Let's just go ahead. Birmingham and St. Louis.
Oh, God, man. Listen, Arlington, let's go back to what we've read, right? Read the Birmingham's offense and defense.
Offensive was over 900 yards. Defensively, it was at less than 800. So like 780, where for the defense for the Battlehawks, it was like 880. It was 883, if I'm not mistaken.
And their offense was 725.
725. So I'm like, you averaging just under, for 3 games, you're averaging right around 208. No, 248.
And Max is sitting at 100 average 120. Right, and averaging 125 yards a game.
And you can't do that against the Stallions. That's just right up there.
Exactly. And here's the other thing that we know with the Stallions. Yeah, our defense is good. Don't
pause.
Okay,
first.
Go ahead.
Let's do this.
Okay.
There are times during those games where a lot of the starting positions are in opponent territory. So that could play a part in why the yardage could be low. If you're in opponent territory, it's a little bit easier to get points. If you're starting that way. If the game flow is like that, you continuously getting stops where the Birmingham is a team that can get down the field in 80 yards, no problem. But my point is that could be a big thing here in this game. So you can't take
it could be a big factor. I'm not disagreeing with you on that, right? But you're talking 900 yards with 4 different quarterbacks.
As a fact, it's a fact. So yeah, you got over
their record.
Offense.
Their record, okay, for spring football. Their record for spring football is 25-4.
So wait, they're 2-1 in their last 3 games, though.
That is true. They are 2-1.
The Battlehawks are 3-0 in their last 3.
You're right. You're right. Not disagree.
They have beaten teams, quality teams here. Maybe not Memphis or so, but
listen.
Gang. I love y'all, man, but y'all ain't it.
Look, here it is. What have we seen Birmingham? What have you seen Birmingham do against running quarterbacks, Arlington?
They shut them down.
They contain them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They contain them. Skip Holtz plays a great defense. He shuts down mobile quarterbacks completely. Look what he did in the second half against Jalen McKinnon. Shit. Look what he did against Jordan Ta'amu.
I can't read it. I was trying to do that, but I'm not going to do them like that.
What does David say?
Get a call Michael Lambert.
Right? What does David say?
So what you're saying is they're beatable.
You're right. I am beatable. But
no, he's talking about the Stallions.
I am saying they are beatable. I am saying they are beatable.
Memphis has done it.
But look, here's what the one thing I'm going to say. There has not been a USFL team that has come into the Dome and to win a game yet.
That's the key thing here.
Since this merger has happened. But if there is a team to do it, it is Birmingham. But for the simple fact, Arlington, even though the yardage on offense and defense lean towards Birmingham, right? I am going to throw in the 12th man, and I am going to throw in the factor that there should be 30,000 people in the Battle Dome this weekend.
You need to get 40. You need to get 40 for this.
Well, we need to get 40 because if we get 40, I'll dye my hair blue.
Y'all gonna do this because I want to see it happen again. Listen,
I will go Battlehawks beating Birmingham. But they could very easily lose this game.
I'm going to don't it. I hate this pick. I really hate this pick. Just because we just told you that no USFL team has won in the Dome, right?
Right.
Battlehawks are 3-0 in their last 3. Birmingham has taken a loss to get to the team that the Battlehawks beat today.
Right. What does Derek say right there? What does Derek say right there?
Birmingham is keeping the offense off the field and milk the clock.
But listen, we've seen what Birmingham's defense does. Right, we see what Birmingham does against mobile quarterbacks. It's unreal.
We're just not going to beat them with Mad Max. We know that.
But no. We need to play a mistake-free game if we're going to beat Birmingham. Like I said, I'm going to give it with the 12th man, and that no USFL team has ever came into the dome, to the Battle Dome, and beat the Battlehawks. I'm going to go with the Battlehawks, but I could very easily see Birmingham rolling us. Very easily see it. But I'm going to go with the Battlehawks just for the fact of the Battle Dome, and the USFL has never beat.
Listen, those that tune into this show, y'all better be there this Saturday. I'm choosing the Battlehawks not because I'm just from St. Louis. I'm choosing them because I really see something different happening than what we've normally seen. It's time for Birmingham to be a normal team, and I'm going to take them. So Battlehawks, geez, I'm really going to regret this pick. I'm really going to.
Who are you going with?
The Battlehawks.
All right. What's our last game, Arlington?
It is Arlington versus DC. So Renegades and Defenders.
Oh, God. DC is just on a tear since their last loss.
I know. And
the doorman, Coach Harris, Doorman Harris, has that team playing. If Jordan Ta'amu plays the way like he did against the Brahmas. I mean, listen, Arlington's got a great defense. Joel Powell. What's his name? What's the big guy? Payne right up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And where are they at? They're in DC, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what's DC's record in Audi Field? I think it's like kind of like Birmingham's record is. In Birmingham, they don't lose.
They're 2-1 in Audi Field this season. You know the team that they lost to?
The Brahmas.
Correct. So that means this is a division game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Want some revenge. They want to avenge that 4-point loss that they took. Remember, that game was a great game. It
was a great game.
The Renegades just couldn't seem to find a way to finish because that has been their
We
issue.
had that at number 2 last week as the second best game of the week.
And that was their issue, is that they could not finish a ball game, and it's continued.
Yep.
I'm going to choose my namesake.
Oh. I'm going DC.
I do not need. I know because you big on Jordan anyway.
No, it's just the way they've been playing as of late. It's just the way they've been playing as of late.
And that's what I'm saying. It's difficult, man, because the Renegades have been in these ball games.
But here's the big key factor. Here's the big key factor you're forgetting with the Renegades. They lost Balaj.
Defenders.
And Balaj is what helped Luis Perez and all of this stuff.
You convinced me. God dang it. You know what? DC it is. Because Abram Smith's still back there.
That's true.
If they don't steamroll Arlington, and mind you, Memphis and both San Antonio just been eliminated from playoff contention. So with the losses,
that is true.
So
all right, Arlington, is that it? Because I got to start driving back home, man.
All right, start.
I got to start driving back home.
Okay.
Anything else? Do we have anything else?
As you've been seeing the light and constant movement.
No, because I have it. I have it set up that way, Arlington.
All right, gang. I think that'll wrap things up for this edition.
We're gonna see you next Sunday.
Sunday, yes, because the last game is going to be.
All right, kick me out, Arlington. We will see you guys next Sunday after the last game. 30 minutes after the last game is played, we will see you guys next Sunday right here on the X Fan Show. Go to our Twitter page to follow the updates and all of that, live game updates that we'll be putting out there. Other than that, Arlington, I got nothing else to say.
See you later, dude.
Later.
Follow us on Twitch at X Fan Show. You can always catch us on YouTube at X Fan Show, and of course, Facebook.com. You can catch the X Fan Show as well. We'll be back Sunday. Let's do this again Sunday, folks. Right after DC and Arlington take on each other to close out the week, and should have some more fun coming up then. All right, X Fan Show Sunday, back again right after Arlington and DC. The A Train getting out of here, signing off.
Bullet Club 4.
He's got to be playing along, man. Always playing in the background. All right. We'll see you next time for another different X Fan Show Sunday. Right here on the X Fan Show.